So this is our studio, and I generally stay out of here. This is where our video and our photography, a lot of it happens. You can see different backdrops, different things, different props, a lot of different props for doing whatever. And it's after hours right now. Looks like they had set up to do something right there. And I'm going to use that to do this video. So I'm going to put this right here and walk around front. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is another audiobook, the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, and I printed that out. This book is a book that I actually pay a lot of my managers to read, or not to read, but to, well, if they want to read it, that's fine. But what I tell them is, get your own Audible account, buy it, and it's a 3-hour soundtrack, and listen to it while you're driving, and it's okay if you clock your time in. Adjust your time card so that time is paid for time. And I encourage them to go through that. This book, it was created, I don't know, about 20 years ago. And it's really interesting because it talks about, like I say, 22 different rules or laws of marketing. And if you get the book and you read through it, you'll discover that some of what I've said in the past is actually from that book. One of them is the law of line extension. I talked about that in another post, and some other things too. I highly recommend that book. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about marketing and what the history of Bountiful Baby was marketing wise. Now, Bountiful Baby began as a supply house in 2003, and there was Facebook wasn't around. A lot of this stuff just wasn't around, and probably well, you know what? Let's back up a little bit. You talk about advertising. Every venue has it's worth advertising. I mean, it generates results. The question is it worth the cost? Now, for example, a couple of years ago for Rose, I think it was Rose 28, no, it's Rose 2017, we did a full-side bus ad, those vinyl wraps on a bus, and then that year we asked people what brought them to Rose, how did they discover Rose, and there wasn't a single person that selected the bus ad, and we'd spent thousands of dollars on that. You look at things like billboards. We've played with billboards with one of the other business units, and actually it was my son's store. He played with billboards, and they don't work like they used to. I mean, you look at the cars driving by, and either the person's driving the car or it's a passenger, and what are they doing? They're sitting there looking at their phone. They're not watching the billboards. And TV, you know, young kids today it's like, what's a TV? You know, especially if it's the old CRT style TV, they don't even recognize them. And my family, we haven't watched TV that I can think of for, man, I don't know, years. It's all online, it's on the computer. So things change, it's a moving target. And when Bountiful Baby first began, of course we were already well into the digital age. And one of the most effective things that we found there was to post on, it was a forum, Dollfan, doll-fan.com. And it did really well for us. Between that and our email subscriber base, that's where we got a lot of the sales initially. And we created our own forum way back then too. Now I found out that Dollfan used something called PHPBB. It's open source forum software. So I set that up on one of our own servers for our original Bountiful Baby forum. And it got some traction. Of course, I used a kind of a trick way in the beginning. I actually posted on Dolphin and offered a bribe, and I don't even remember what the bribe was. I think it was like $5 coupon or $5 off their first order if they come over and create an account or something like that. I don't remember, but we overnight had a lot of subscribers on our forum, and the forum worked out really well too for advertising and producing advertising results. PHPBB, one of the big problems we had with that is all the spam, and it turned into a real nightmare trying to stay ahead of the spammers. And eventually we switched it out for what we are using now. Discourse hosting is the Discourse forum software that's hosted by Discourse Hosting Company. And it's been real nice because it's dropped our administration to almost zero. We don't have to do hardly anything ever to administer that site. And the individuals can vote down the posts. When we had our PHPBB site, we had an open policy that if any member wanted to, if they didn't want a post there, if they wanted it deleted, we would delete it. No questions asked. They just had to let us know. We would delete it. And a lot of the reason for that, of course, is because of all the drama that commonly comes up. So, yeah, with discourse hosting, that's all automatic. People can flag a post, and the software will automatically pull it off. And we just haven't had to do any, to speak of, any kind of administration with that site. It's been real nice. And in terms of a channel for marketing, it was a really good channel. But the forums have dropped, their effectiveness have dropped, and it's been replaced by, as you can imagine, you can guess, it's social media sites like YouTube and Facebook and so on. And we've been kind of slow at moving there. What you need to do is you need to put your attention, your advertising, where people are looking. They're not looking at billboards. They're not looking at, we did a inside front cover ad, 10, 12, 15 years ago. I don't remember how long. Long time ago in Dollcrafter magazine. Full inside front cover for 12 consecutive months, and it had a coupon in there for, I don't remember how much, but so much off of their website order. And the purpose of that was to try to measure the results. And we had, again, I don't remember what the results were, but it was only a few. You could definitely measure. It was definitely enough that a low enough number that you could count them on both hands with your fingers, and it might have been one hand. I don't even remember. And we spent thousands and thousands of dollars on that, and that's the kind of response we got. It was really awful. Print advertising doesn't work. There'll probably be people upset at me, but like Dolls Magazine and that, I wouldn't bother. And the old Dollcrafter, I wouldn't bother. What you should do is spend time on where the people are at, and where they are at is in the social media sites. And that's where you should advertise. Anyway, just this brief little thing and a book recommendation, and that's where I would. Oh, with Facebook, you can. I don't know if I do actual Facebook ads. I think they work, but you really have to target them, and you can target them. You can specify a lot of demographics of the market that you're targeting, and you're going to have to if you actually pay for ads. Otherwise, you're not going to get the results that you need for the money that you spend. But I would spend time on social media is where I would go if I were you. Anyway, appreciate you. That's the end of this video. Thank you. Bye-bye.